I didn't do anything except for the one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tibs TV, which is the Intuitive Body and Soul. I'm your host, Joan Turner, and this is your co-host, Deborah Carpenter.
Hello.
And we are filming from my art studio, so you can see all the art and whatnot behind us, because the place where we usually film is having a new floor put in, so I'm really excited about that. Today's guests you'll be very familiar with, Southern New Hampshire Ukulele Group, all right, is my group. They're my home away from home family, and they have agreed to be on the show. Like most people and company and groups, we've all been affected, by the pandemic. How it got here is another story, but that's another show altogether. But they're going to come on and talk to us and let us know how it's impacted them. So we have with us Keith McFadgen, all right, and he, we call him the leader of the group. Well, he's our mighty leader. He's very talented and keeps us on task and shows us how to do all the hard chords. And we have a gig coming up, so we've been doing a lot of practice for that. And then our other guest is one you're also familiar with, is June Pinkham. We call her the heart and soul of the group. She really keeps things going. Organized. And so without further ado, we are going to bring them on in. So everyone help us in welcoming Keith McFadgen and June Pinkham.
Hello.
Yay! Okay, and we also have an intuitive body and soul person. Carol is with us, but you can only see her name because her camera, I guess, is not working. Hello, Carol. Are you there?
Hello.
All right, there
Yes.
she is. All right. Okay, so we introduced you, June, as the heart and soul of the group, and Keith is our mighty leader. He kind of keeps us on task and all that good stuff. So what we thought we would like to talk about is how the pandemic affected this group. Okay, so Ms. June, you look like you could answer that really well.
It's been really hard, Joni. It's been really hard. We've all been using Zoom and other platforms for many years for business purposes, and it's always been amazing to me that we could do that with people working across the world to Zoom in or Google in on meetings that we have for our work purposes. But with a musical group, it's
tough.
At first, it was just really great to see everybody's smiling faces on Zoom, and then after a while we realized it's like a cold flame. You can't practice together. You can only hear one person at a time. So it's been a challenge.
It's been a challenge because we haven't been able to practice efficiently. And like you said, this is like second best, but it's not like actually being in person. And I think, and Keith, it's like when we're together, the group kind of connects and everyone synchronizes and they play and blah, blah, blah. It was really hard trying to do it on Zoom, but you actually did it. You put it together well.
Well, what we kind of did was we came up with a workaround that worked.
Yeah. Which
is basically muting everybody and letting one person lead at a time, because you have latency issues. You have different people logging in at, have different speeds on their internet, and there's lags and, all that kind of stuff that comes into play with technology. So it makes it kind of difficult. But, we did find a way to work around it. The other thing is, when you're in a meeting, when you're off site and everyone's in a room, everyone's kind of focused on the same task. And one of the things I notice that's happening in the Zoom meetings is people come and go. People don't stay for the whole meeting. They get up and they go eat dinner and then they come back. And there's a lot of stuff.
Names.
So there's a lot of people are getting distracted by what's around them, and they're not really staying focused on the whole time that you're in the meeting. It's not everybody, but it can be
It's
difficult.
enough. It's enough. Because even if one or two people do that, it's distracting. We at Tibs TV, we have been doing like learning tarot cards, so on and so forth. So running into the same thing. Now, it's not a musical thing where, you know, people can't stay timed with each other, but people would just get up and walk away. You know, they go and get a drink, they go do this, they do that, and you're having a class and you're talking, and then they come back and they're like,
Well,
Where'd you leave off?
try to school some kids. I was taking care of a couple of children, and they were in front of their computer trying to learn their studies, and all of a sudden they just disappeared.
Yeah,
Where did you go?
I used
My,
to.
Very frustrating.
It's frustrating. I used to always say that when you have a class, people are setting aside time and usually money, you know, so they're very focused and they're dedicated. But doing it this way, I find that that's not the case at all.
It's very hard for kids. I have an 8-year-old granddaughter,
Uh,
and my daughter has been complaining about the online classes because, you know, she has the attention span of a gnat, you know, so it's, and she wants to get up and
Timing.
move around and do things, and
Yeah.
it's difficult, especially classes that she doesn't like.
right,
Like if she doesn't like math,
right.
and because she doesn't like math, she doesn't want to sit there and stare at the computer
And stare at
screen
the computer.
and math,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
So.
and it's a home environment. I mean, when you're at home, there's a different feel to it and stuff. So same thing with the ukulele. You know, when we're at practice and we're all together, we're very focused on what we're doing. And like you said, when you're doing it this way, when you're at home or in a different venue, you know, something else catches your attention. The phone rings. Who drops a book on the floor? You know, this type of thing. So it was difficult to actually coordinate all of that. But I thought that you did a good job, and you were actually able to kind of go through the steps, because you would set it up, and you would also be able to share the music and stuff with us. So
That's a benefit.
that's a definite benefit.
That's been one of the best things that ever happened to Snug. Keith is keeping our song library up to date and active, and anybody can access it on the web. It's just been such a blessing. So big applause for
Big
Keith
kudos,
on that.
big kudos, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
And
the
all-
hardest thing is that, I mean, when you're in a musical group, you have to be able to hear each other, and you have to be able to get your timing down and hear how you sound together.
Right.
And that's what's missing. That's what's been
I'm
missing.
anxious to hear the Boston Pops on the 4th of July. That's all going to be on TV. That's going to be something
That'll
else.
be
I
something.
think they have better access to technology than we do.
And
I'm
we
not
do,
sure.
right. So that'll be fine, right? We're the ones.
Well,
that-
one of the other things is we have had a couple of outdoor meetings.
I was
and-
going to say we adjusted. So we went from phase 1, which was the Zoom
Right.
stuff, and then the spaced out musicians. So,
But the spaced out musicians have a lot of the same problems as Zoom, because when you're outdoors, sound doesn't travel as well, and you're so far apart from each other.
yeah,
If you watch our Facebook video from last Friday night, there are times during the video when everyone's in a different place in the song, and it's mostly because, you know, some of us are 20 and 30 feet apart from each other, you know, because we're trying to space it out, and you know, it's been a challenge.
yeah. And I was telling everyone that we have a gig coming up. That's in September. It's September, June.
Oh, Snugfest is
Snugfest.
August 1. Yeah,
Oh,
August
August.
29th.
Okay.
It's coming up.
So, I mean, we have to practice. So Keith kind of keeps us on task that way. So you have the online stuff going on. You have the in-person stuff going on. So, I mean, there's a lot.
That's going to be around your birthday. When's your birthday?
I don't have a birthday. I gave up on my
No,
birthdays.
August what?
Donate.
27.
Oh, well, we'll have to
27.
celebrate.
I have to
on-
go party.
You'll have to bring your own cookies.
Bring my own cookies. Yeah.
Chocolate chip.
Last night I made chocolate mousse.
Oh, yeah.
I did. I made one for you too, honey.
Oh, just what I need.
Just what she needs, strawberry mousse. So getting ready for Snug Fest. All right, we have a list of songs. We get together and we sing them, so on and so forth. Talk about Snug Fest. What is it, so people know what it is?
This will be our 5th annual ukulele picnic outside at Henry Law Park in Dover. And we have musical groups coming from all around. It's a all-day musical event. It's free and open to the public, and it's usually, we're going to scale it down this year because we have to, but it's really fun.
So how do we scale down? What are we doing?
Well, we won't be able to do the record-breaking attempt, the strumming record-breaking attempt, where everybody gets on stage and tries to break the record for strumming all at once, the same song.
Well, we could have to fill the park. Everyone get in the park. We want to fill the park.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that. We are awaiting guidelines too from the city of Dover to be sure that we do what we're supposed to and follow.
Did we already get that? Do we already have the okay and all that good stuff? No.
They know we're doing it. We're just waiting for the guidelines saying this is how you need to do it. This is what you need to do. We've already taken our own steps. We're going to have microphones spaced apart. We have special microphone covers after each group. We'll take those off and put new ones on. And
oh, nice. Okay.
Keith and I and several others have been talking about ways to do it, but it's a moving target. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's something that people look forward to, and I'm glad that we're going ahead and doing it because we have a large group. Even though there's what kind of a core group, there's over 400 people in the Snug meetup group. So that's really large for a musical group. But it also means you have over 400 opinions. Do it, don't do it. You're crazy to do it. Blah blah blah. So at some point, sometimes I have a big mouth. I get myself in trouble.
Really?
Really, honest, truly. I know you find that hard to believe. But it's like
no idea.
It's like don't you tell them that story. She's very bad. But at some point,
I'd like to climb under the table.
That was just once or twice.
Under the table.
Anyway, at some point, I'm like, you know what? People get so much information. We have been fear-porned to death. We've been receiving all these facts, warnings, blah, 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 all these conspiracy. People have so much information. Stop making decisions for them. Let them decide for themselves. At this point, if they don't have an opinion, where have they been on the planet? You know what I mean? So even if like, do it, don't do it, should we do this, should we do that? You know what? If the core group wants to go ahead and do it, the other people can make up their mind, given the facts that they have, make up your mind about what's comfortable for you. It's like,
well, it's still a lot of fear.
Yeah.
This is going to sound strange. I've been watching a college course online and the whole course is on the Black Plague of the 1300s.
Exciting
it's a lecture series, and it's kind of interesting because they talk about how that affected the world at the time, and at the point, and they believe that maybe as much as 40 to 50% of the population of Europe died.
Wow. Okay.
In that plague, and the disease would hit you, and you'd have it for 2 days, and you were dead.
Yeah, fast.
It was 2 days. That's it. So that's scary. That's something to be afraid of. But now, because we have better medicines and we have better ways of doing things, we don't have those infection rates. We don't have that. What's the infection rate? Less than 1%.
Yeah, right.
Something like that. So even though it's something to be cautious of, is it something we should be fearful of? I don't know, but it's up to each person to decide how they want to handle that.
Well, that's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter what we have come across. We have come across people doing all kinds of things. I belong to like 70 meetup groups. I know that shocks you. And so, and everyone is like, all right, we have to decide this. We have to do that. We have to. People know everything they need to know. Do what you want to do and let people use their own judgment. Because I, for one, am tired of being told what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like, I know,
love you,
I've
Joni.
heard all this. What are you saying, Miss June?
I said I love you.
Well, you know, it's like we've heard it all. We've heard conspiracy theories about how the pandemic came about. You know, some of it makes sense to me, some of it doesn't. We know the facts. We know that it's spread around the world, not just in Europe or just in America. We know that 100-year-old patients have survived COVID. I just saw one on Facebook yesterday. And we also know that young people in their 20s have not. Okay.
Not many.
So not many, but I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I've had students coming in that never stopped coming in. Do you know what I mean? So they come in for our class, and I mean, no one's gotten sick. And I think unless you're in your house and everyone that you ever come in contact with is in your house with you and never goes outside, then maybe you haven't had some sort of contact. But at this point in time, everyone has had exposure on some level. So if you're not sick by now, you're probably not going to be. And someone said to me, well, you could be a carrier. And I said, well, yeah, anything is possible, but no one around me has gotten sick either. So I don't think that that's the case either. You know what I mean? So I think if you're relatively healthy, you probably have been exposed on some level, you're probably okay. But some people are still afraid to leave their house. We had an outing with the art class, and one woman, she doesn't drive. I said to her, I'll come get you. She goes, no, I don't want to go. And I said, why not? And she said, I'm afraid. So it stopped her from going. So I feel bad, but everyone needs to use their own judgment and stay within their comfort zone. But the whole fear porn thing, right from day one, it's, I feel like we're being controlled. You know what I mean?
Well, it's suppression of will. We want to be free. We don't want to be covered up and fearing or feeling like we're, criminals.
Plus, they didn't close the country down.
Well, my 101-year-old patient, she did not want us wearing masks in the house. She said, I want to see your face. So,
well, older, yeah.
That was fine. That was good.
So SnugFest is going to move forward, correct?
It is.
SnugFest is moving forward. What about the Ukulele Kids Club now? June, you sit on the board for that, and tell people what Ukulele Kids Club is, and that's a nonprofit as well, correct?
Correct. The Ukulele Kids Club is a 501c3, and it's dedicated to bringing smiles across the country to hospitalized children, across the world, really. And what they do is they provide music therapy and instruments to hospitalized children. And it's just an amazing thing, the science behind what they do.
It is amazing.
Yeah, and I've been on the board for about 6 years now.
Wow.
I serve on the events committee, so it's been an interesting year.
I was just going to say, so how has the pandemic affected the Ukulele Kids Club? Because Ukulele Kids Club, you actually go into the hospital with the ukuleles, correct?
That's right, and the music therapists are still doing that. There is still a need for them to go in, let's say, before a very scary procedure that a child has to have. They suit up and they put on masks and they go in and they can lower the blood pressure of the patient and make them more receptive to their treatment, as well as help their caregivers around them relax and feel better about what's going to happen too. So they're still going strong, but it's been a challenge in terms of events. Everything's online, of course, like everybody else. And so we all had to switch gears pretty quickly.
So has that changed at all? Has that relaxed at all? Like where our bowling league closed down, now it's open again. The restaurants are open again around here, at least outside.
Today you can go inside.
Oh, today you can go inside.
Yesterday it was outside.
Okay, all right. So has that relaxed a little bit around the UKC?
I think it will eventually. We're planning on a big event in Q4, a real event, not an online event. We really can't, there's still so much fear, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
that I don't see anything happening offline before Q4 of this year. So it's a wait and see kind of a thing too. Some
Yeah.
venues are more susceptible, some venues are more open for big events than others. So it's tricky.
Yeah, it's still a question mark. It's still up in the air, you know. And
Yeah.
so for Snug in general, again, we get a really kind of mixed bag. So Keith, do you get feedback from that? Do you get like, yeah, this is a good idea, going playing in the park? No, it's not, blah, blah, blah. What kind of feedback do you get from our people?
I think most people are open to it. I think most people like the idea of seeing people again and getting out in the public. There are a few people that have given me some grief. Not really bad, but you know, they've just made comments like, I don't know why anybody would want to go outside, you know, and things like that, you know, and you just,
everybody.
yeah, and it's like, I'm okay, then don't come. So what I've been trying to do to compensate for that is I've been doing these Facebook Live feeds and just setting up my phone, and we'll play in the park, and I just have the phone going, and if people want to show up for Facebook Live and bring their book and play along with us, they can certainly do that, or just watch or whatever. But I'm trying to combine the technology part of it with the meeting in person, and you know, at least for the time being.
Yeah, it's like trying to keep everyone happy, you know, those who are for and those who are against.
Well, I mean, some people do have legitimate health issues, like I do.
Absolutely.
I do have legitimate health issues that, you know, I don't like it when I go into a store and people just walk right up and crowd around me. That happened to me last weekend at Home Depot. I literally had a group of people come right up behind me, reaching over my shoulders for things on the shelf. And it was kind of unnerving.
Yeah.
Did they have masks on?
Some did, some didn't. Even the people who worked in the store, some did, some didn't. Some people aren't wearing their masks right. They leave their nose out.
I know it.
Or they have it dangling around their neck or whatever. So it's not always effective. But the part that bothered me was the fact that, you know, some people feel comfortable without the social distancing and other people don't. And me having some health issues that I need to worry about, when somebody comes up to me like that as a complete stranger, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. It probably shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with the group, is make sure that we don't have that fear, that people feel comfortable enough to come out. That's why we're doing it outdoors instead of indoors. And that's why we're giving people the option to join up. Like, you know, it's like Alex, one of our members, Alex, she hasn't been able to come because of you know, the social distancing issues and stuff. And I miss the heck out of her because she's such a crucial part of our group.
I actually was wondering about her.
Yeah, so she's got some, you know, she needs to be, you know, in this situation right now.
Yeah.
And we miss her, and we wish she was part of what was going on. And it's not just her. There's some other people that have health issues that can't come.
Right.
They absolutely serious health issues. And we do have an older demographic in our group, so you know, it's important that we keep those, you know, that there for people.
Their wishes.
To give as many options as possible instead of saying, hey, we're meeting, screw you. You know, it's like, you know, we need to be sensitive to everybody's needs.
And that's why I think that the two of you are such great leaders, you know what I mean? Because it's not just a matter of trying to keep everyone happy. You're trying to do it the right way, and that makes a difference. Because like you said, a lot of people have very legitimate concerns.
Yeah.
And I actually I maybe should be more fearful, but I actually don't have a lot of fears and stuff. Yet I was in the store just yesterday and someone did to me exactly what you're talking about. I had my mask on, the other person had their mask on, but they walked right up behind me, reached over me and pulled out. And I turned around and kind of looked at them because it just caught me off guard for a second, because most people are kind of keeping their distance. So, you know, so even though I don't fear for myself, it still caught me off guard that someone would do that. So if you do have health issues, then, you know, that makes it worse because, you know, you can't stay cloistered forever either.
Right.
You know, people are, I heard people are getting sick from the bacteria on their masks
You're
if you don't
inhaling.
have disposable
Inhaling your own CO2.
CO2. Oh, okay. And mine always has makeup on it. I don't know why, you know. So I'm like, what the heck, you know? So then I have to spray it and throw it in the wash and stuff. So luckily
Well,
I have two.
there are rules for wearing it,
Yeah.
and I don't think many people know what those are.
What are the rules? You're
Tight,
they're
tight
supposed to
here.
wear it tight. And but if you have I think disposables are probably the best. So you wear them once and throw them away. But mine are not. They're the one with the valves in it. I gotta have another one. So I mean, those are like, you know, I spray them with pre-wash to get all the makeup off of them, and then
But if you worked in a hospital, they're tight here.
Yeah.
And they go right over the nose here.
Right.
So I mean, you could actually have a mark on your face when you take it off. It's that tight.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had mine on upside down because my eyelashes kept hitting the bottom of the mask. I'm going like, what the heck? I don't remember that being an issue. Oh,
And then it fogs up your glasses.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Shaving cream. Wash your glasses with shaving cream. They won't
She's
fog
beat
up.
me there for a minute. I'm like, no, that's a different show, the shaving cream.
What show's that?
See, this is how we get into trouble. Her fault.
Never mind.
So
Keep your mind out of the gutter.
my mind is never in the gutter. So let's get back
All right.
to the Snug Festy thing. So what about our other the other yearly the other yearly events that we do? Are we just taking that a step at a time, see what happens? We're gonna go forward with planning.
I think we can still plan on doing our annual luau. That's in February, Groundhog Day. I hope we can, Joni.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of a wait and see still.
According to the president, we should have a serum or something by the end of the year, which I don't know, you know, if that's going to happen or not. Debbie says no.
I'm not taking it.
Oh, well, that's another issue. See, I don't get a flu shot anymore either, and
I have to. It's recommended.
Well, because of the work you do, but I don't get a flu shot anymore. And you know, you hear so many things about what are in those shots that when it does become available, it may put a lot of people's mind at ease. But I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. You might be. I have a procedure coming up next week. It's something very minor, but it does. It's a day surgery type thing, and they said to me, you have to be COVID tested before we can do the procedure.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a valid, you know,
not only for you, for other
concern.
people.
Right, because
Dealing
you're
with you.
there and
Sure.
they're around you, and
Sure.
absolutely.
Luckily, it's an easy test, and you'll know right away, right?
Right up your nose. Yeah.
Up the nose.
I was tested.
And they have one they can do on your cheek as well, right on the inside of the cheek. But I guess the one up the nose
That
is
hurts.
well, don't tell me that.
It didn't hurt me, Tony. I had a test. It didn't hurt a bit.
Didn't hurt a bit.
Yeah. I have a bigger nose.
Well, if that's the case, well, you know, so I guess it depends on who's doing the testing is what I'm hearing.
Maybe it's a different test.
Well, yeah, I'll be fine. So we will know one way or the other, but I would be very surprised if it came back anything other than that. So we're going to go ahead with all of our yearly stuff. And
Yeah, we're still playing, doing outside gigs. We're still going to nursing homes, which is a blast.
okay, how are we doing the nursing home? We're doing those outside, right? I didn't make the last
Outside.
one.
Yeah, we've got Susan just booked one in Salisbury again, and last time we played there, the residents were on the porch, and we were, what would you say,
Aw.
keep 15 or 20 feet back,
Nice.
social
Yeah,
distancing. It
at
was a
least.
blast.
Oh, they must have loved that.
They did.
That's awesome. So is this one where you had to kind of travel around to different parts of the
No,
or
that was the one we did in Portsmouth. That was a little
Right.
bit more challenging, but it was also fun.
yeah?
Yeah.
So the one in Salisbury, where you're just there and everyone is, what, are they in front of the doors? Are they opening windows? How do they do that?
They have a porch.
Porches.
A big porch.
It's a 2-floor porch.
Oh, okay.
So the people sat in their lawn chairs on the porch at both levels, and
Were they spaced
Oh,
apart?
that's perfect. Like balcony.
as much as they could, yeah. And we stood in the driveway below them and played.
Yeah,
We were all spaced apart too. It's a little challenging to hear each other, but
I bet.
it was good to see each other and play.
And Elvis made an appearance. So
He did, huh?
Yep.
when Elvis shows up, that just
Everything.
makes
That's right. Makes everything better. Yeah. So did you use mics so that people could hear you? No, we were just how many people showed up? How many people showed up? To play.
to play
To play.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
5 or 6. Okay.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, is keep it small.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You know, if you keep it small, then it must be harder to be heard. But if you have a large number of people, then you need the space, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And-
6 is a good number, 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 to 8. All right. And everyone can be heard? They heard you okay?
Oh, they loved it.
They said they could.
Yeah.
That's good. This is a good thing. And I think that it's important that we keep doing stuff like that, because, you know, one of the things that really drew me to the group is that you're such a people first organization. You know, there's no charge for anything. You know, you're all about helping people, helping the kids. And even in a situation like this, you know, you're thinking about ways to still be out there and help people. And I think that that's really, really important. It's one of the things that drew me to the group in general. So Keith, how long have you been in the group? I was trying to remember earlier, and I don't remember.
It's a good question.
How long?
It's been about 3.5 years, I think.
Okay, because I was already in the group when you came.
Mhm.
Okay, because I was
Right.
thinking when I first started, you were not in the group. In June, you're
Yeah.
part of the woodwork, so
Yeah, I'm one of the originals.
you're one of the originals. Okay, so Keith, what drew you to the group? I'm curious.
So I've been playing ukulele for a number of years.
I know you've been
Just-
playing guitar. I didn't know you played the ook.
Well, I played uke, guitar, bass, stuff like that. The uke thing was kind of a gimmicky thing. It's
Yeah.
nice to have to tote around and everything. Well, my mom passed away 3.5 years ago or so, and my mom was like, she was one of these people, dragged us to church every Sunday. She sang in the choir. She played piano. You know, she's very musically oriented. Her whole family was. She's one of 7. So most of the girls, not all of them, but most of the girls, it was 6 girls, were piano players, and they used to sing in quartets and things like that together.
Nice.
Anyhow, what happened was my mom had a dementia called Pick's disease, which it's a frontal lobal. And what it did was, even though she had her memory, it took away her personality. It took away her cognitive skills and things like that.
And
So she would just sit in a chair and not do anything and just stare at you and repeat. If you said hello, she would say hello back. How are you? She'd say, how are you? That's all she could do. You couldn't have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
So my sisters were out visiting one time, and they found an old hymn book she had stuck in a drawer. And they pulled it out, and they sang some of the songs in the hymn book to her. And she perked up. She
responded,
became alert.
Nice.
So my dad picked up on this. He went out to the store and bought a bunch of music that she liked. And every day he would set up the stereo system and say to her, do you want music? And she would say yes, because that's all she could say.
So you would respond to that.
And she would like start tapping her hand and tapping her foot, and she'd come alive.
Amazing.
So after she passed away, I decided that I wanted to do something in her honor. So somebody said to me, hey, you're a ukulele player. You should check out this ukulele picnic. So that kind of brought me to Snug. And then I found out that they were working with seniors, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Perfect.
So I showed up, I tried to hide in the back of the room.
Doesn't work.
There's a certain individual on the screen right now that wouldn't let me do that. So so that's how I got involved. It was really all about, my mom's influence and trying to do something to honor what she's, something that she brought into my life, and since then I've made some donations to the UKC in her name, things like that. So the two charities that I support are the Frontal Temporal Dementia Society and the UKC, and that's how I got here.
That's awesome. Good for us. Good for us.
Blame my
Very
mom.
good for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Keith's mom.
So is your family musically inclined?
Me?
Your kids? Yeah. Your mother and all.
Well, my two boys are. I have two boys and a daughter. My two boys, my oldest boy plays bass and has been in a couple of bands over the years. My younger boy does everything by ear. So when I was when he was a kid, I gave him one of those little electric pianos, keyboards, and he could sit there and just pick out all the songs to his video games. So he'd sit there and play the theme to Mario and things like that. So
Mario
That's
Kart.
great.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
My kids had that.
And he would sit there and figure that out. So yeah, they both played in the school band. One played trumpet, one played trombone.
Nice. That's nice.
So yeah, they are musically inclined. Now my granddaughter has started writing her own songs.
Wow.
How old is she?
8.
So she has this little toy guitar that she gave so on her mom's birthday last year, she wrote her a song.
Oh,
and she sang her this song for her. And of course the guitar's all out of tune and that kind of thing.
So she sings too, huh? Yes?
Kinda, yeah.
Tries.
So what I did last year is I gave her a little ukulele, and maybe at some point I'll teach her how to play it. But yeah, so she has an interest in music. She loves old music like Michael Jackson. She loves Michael Jackson's music.
Unbelievable for an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that song, now, is that the only song she wrote? You need to take that song and help her develop it. It's a family thing now, right?
I don't know that, but all I know is my daughter cried her eyes out.
Aww.
And I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I hope somebody videoed it. Did somebody video it?
I don't know that.
Oh, that's a good memory. June, how about your family? How about your girls?
No, neither my son nor my daughter, they love music, but they're not musicians. However, I have 2 granddaughters coming up, so I have high hopes for them. I'm already teaching them stuff.
Good girl. Good girl.
Yeah.
So did you know Keith before he joined the group? So
No.
how did you pick him out? How did you know that he needed to play a larger part in the group?
There.
I just knew. I just looked at Keith and watched him play for a few minutes, and I was like, I think it was intuitive, some of it too.
I
But
think so.
yeah,
And his passion for it too, I'm sure.
you
So
can tell. You
So
can tell
what
the
did
doers.
you say to him? What did you say to him? Hey, Keith, how about leading practice? How'd you get, look at, see? What did she do to you?
She sent me an email, and it said,
Look at her face.
this isn't an exact quote, but it basically said, we have this event coming up, and we need you to pick out the music for this event. Period.
Period. That's it.
And I was like, oh, I've only been here for 6 months.
6 months, that's all.
I think it was for like 6 weeks, Keith.
No, it was a little more than that. But
He had you pegged from day one.
it was the Creek Man event. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Of course.
She said, here, I want you to pick out this music. And I was like, so I kind of just
Did it.
winged it and figured it out. And so then after that event was done, the next event was coming up and nothing was happening. It was no one was organizing anything. So I wrote Dan a note, and I said, who was our founder, and I wrote Dan a note. And I said, hey, Dan, nobody's leading the music for the luau. What's going on? He goes, it's your job. Take it.
Has it been your job ever since?
Absolutely.
Wait a minute, Dan. I was just trying to nudge you along a little bit. It's like, nope.
So he threw it right back at you. So, see,
Yeah.
you were destined. Do you believe in destiny? See, I think you were destined to do that because, 6 months, 6 weeks, I don't think it makes any difference. You would have ended up doing this no matter what. And you know what? No one ever questioned it. Keith would say,
No one
"All right."
wanted it.
No, but no one questioned, like, why is this new guy kind of running things all of a sudden? It was just a very natural transition. Do you know what I mean? It was like he'd say, all right, we're going to do this, or we're going to, get parts for that. And we'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. So we just followed right along. There was no adjustment period.
It was weird. My first night, I was in the back of the room, and I was standing with Jan, and we're playing a song, and she leans over and says, how do you play this chord? How do you play this? I'm like, I'm brand new. What are you asking me for?
Yeah.
I knew, but it was like, what
are you asking me for?
And she's like, well, you look like you know what you're doing. And I'm like,
that's exactly it. You inspire trust. You engender trust is what it is.
I don't know about that.
True. That's very true. That's what it is. She has a way of
image.
I have some people that would disagree with you.
Well, it must depend on the situation because
send them to me.
Say what? Say what, June?
Send those people to me, Keith. I'll set them straight.
I was just going to say, we'll straighten them out for you because, you just engender trust. It's like, all right, if you have a question, ask Keith. He probably has an answer. And I have never heard you not have everyone's best interest at heart. Even when I wanted to do We Are the World, you were like, well, dude, that's a really hard song, blah, blah, blah. People are going to have a hard, yeah, okay, we'll make it work. And I was like, what? So, so it doesn't matter what it is. You'll work with it. You'll make it work. And it's like, all right, we'll get people to do this and so on and so forth. And I remember being at practice and you were asking people what roles or what part they wanted to play. And because no one volunteered, he said, you better volunteer or I'm going to start picking names. And I was like, wow. And then at that point, people spoke up. Okay. So absolutely. You're a leader. You're a leader, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring Alex's name up again. She's just an extreme help because she has a music ability that I don't have.
She has perfect pitch.
She has perfect pitch, and Like one night I couldn't find a note. I was sitting there trying to get the song started and I couldn't find a note. And Dan just yells out, he yells out, "Alex, give us a C." And she goes, "Ah."
That easy for her. You know what I
Okay.
mean? She was,
That probably wasn't a C that I sang, but anyhow.
but she did the C just fine, right?
Right. So she does all of our, or most of our arrangements when it comes to vocals, because that's not in my wheelhouse. But
Definitely in hers.
she can take that and build parts and
Mhm.
put people in different roles, and she's really good at it. She's terrific to have around for that.
She is excellent at it. Now, June, we took singing lessons together with her up in, that was in Dover as well, correct?
Yeah, doo-wop.
Do-wop classes. And she did exactly what you said. She broke them down into like 3 and 4 parts. And
I did it with you.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yeah, one of them I did.
What? We went, I had at least 4 times I went. But I can remember one of the first times that I was there, I was singing off key or doing something. Now she has 4 groups singing and I can hear her listening, and I'm like, I think there were like 10, 12 people there, June. So everyone is singing. So I see her kind of the wheels turning. She walks around the room and now everyone knows my timing sucks, but not everyone knew back then. So she's walking around the room and finally she comes in front of me. She listens for a few seconds and then she goes, 1, 2. I'm like, you can't get away with anything, right? So I think, all right, she can't see me, you know what I mean? But she, out of the whole group, she walked around until she found the person who was not doing it, and she was trying to help me get my timing. She is so astute. Her hearing is amazing, and she is perfect pitch. So she's an amazing musician as well. She plays piano and recorder and the ook and all that good stuff. So she's definitely so.
And she can sing like an angel.
She sings. She's I mean, I'm loud when I sing, but she's loud and she's on pitch. She sings. She has it all. You know what I mean? So she's really. We like having her around. So. She's an amazing person, and I can remember the first time I met her. She's very down to earth for someone who's so talented and this, very down to earth, very nice person. So
very caring.
Yeah, I cannot wait until she's back in class as well. So that will be good. That would be good. So advice for people. Okay, one of the things that we have been trying to do is, and maybe not as much at this point, but when we first started, we were doing Tibs mini chats and all kinds of things because people were like having problems with the isolation and so on. So we would try to give ideas about, how to stay connected while you're distancing. So we say distance, not disconnect, distance, So any suggestions for people how they can still network and look for the opportunity in every situation? Any suggestions?
Number 1, turn off the TV.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
I agree with that.
Turn off the TV.
Number 1.
So much negativity.
And then listen to music. Turn on the radio. That's what I do if I'm home alone in the morning and I'm doing my stuff, my dishes or whatever. But in order to stay connected, this is exactly what we're doing now, get in on these meetings, and anybody's welcome to join Snug meetings. It's all on our Facebook and our meetup site. So everybody from every level is welcome to join us. And that's important to do.
So Carol, are you still with us?
Yes.
So you know what? You're so quiet. I almost forgot that you would. What do you think of all this cool stuff? You ready to buy an ook and join the group? That's all right. You don't have to answer that. I kind of put you on the spot because we're so quiet.
My daughter plays. I appreciate it.
Really? Yes. Your daughter plays? She plays the ook?
Yes.
Well, definitely you should play then also.
Yeah.
Mother and daughter.
I don't own one right now.
Oh, well, that is not a problem for this group.
Yeah,
Easy to fix.
Easy to fix, easy fix.
yes.
Oh, we would love for you to consider. I know Carol. Carol has been to a few of our meetups and stuff. You would be perfect, my darling.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Good, good. We'll talk some more. So, Keith, give us some suggestions. I agree with the no watching TV. If there's anything out there you need to know, they'll let you know. And also the music. Someone said to me, I think I'm getting depressed. And I said, you have a favorite genre of music? Yes. I said, turn it on or play it. I said, it won't even take you 10 minutes. I said, you cannot listen to music you love and be depressed at the same time, for sure.
Mm.
Okay, so Keith, what does the master do to
The master.
the master? Yes, the leader, the
sensei.
master of the group.
No one's called me that in a long time.
Since last week. Yeah.
One of the things that I started doing, I got to get back into it because I got away from it for a little while when it got hot, is I live next to a conservation area.
Oh,
wow.
And the town maintains hiking trails out there. So I can walk to the end of my street and go out and hike through the woods, and you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere, even though you're not.
nice.
And there's a lot of people out there. I mean, you'll be out there and you'll run into people coming the other way. And it kind of, you get that little quick interchange with people. It's not, you're not having a deep conversation, but sometimes it's nice to just say, hi, how's your day going? How you doing? How's the weather? Stuff like that. It just to have some kind of interaction. And for me, I'm a fairly avid hiker. So for me, being outdoors is a big deal. And it clears my head. I have these places I call my thinking spots that I go to, and I just sit for an hour or two at a time.
Do you meditate?
Not really, but I do sit and relax and just kind of focus.
Very
Considered
nice.
meditation.
Sure.
Because sometimes you just need to clear your head somehow. And hiking kind of does that for me. So I just get out there and I do that. I'd like to get up into the mountains, but I just don't have the time to get that far north. So my point is, find something that interests you, whether it's kayaking or hiking or something, and do it. Go to the basketball court and shoot hoops. Do something that's going to keep you occupied and feeling part of your regular life is there. Don't give it all up.
And I think going out into the fresh air is a very valid point as well. So pick something that you like to do, because it's very difficult to be depressed or isolated or whatever if you're enjoying yourself. But the other thing that when all this COVID information was coming out at us, one of the things that they suggested, besides sleep and vitamin, blah, blah, was go outside in the fresh air. Because now things are starting to open up a little bit. If you've been in the house totally, you go outside now, you've been sheltered for so long. But when you're outside, you're exercising, you're walking along, it actually oxygenates your cells and makes you healthier. So finding what you like to do and getting outside in the fresh air, absolutely.
Yeah. Sitting in the house and staring at the TV isn't going to do anything for you.
No.
Not unless you have a humongous bowl of popcorn with you.
Or chips.
Or chips. So there was always exceptions, Keith. I have you binge watching something with Jason Momoa. You're just big. I belong to the Jason Momoa fan club. So I get these really cool pictures of him. And so I posted one of him playing a guitar. And of course, all the women are making all these, oh, thank you, Joan. And this is wonderful, blah, blah, blah. Now you guys remember Uncle Mike from the ukulele group, right? So he writes a comment and he goes, really nice guitar, Joan. I'm like, I miss you so much. Why are you not coming to practices? But that is so typical of him. I cracked up laughing for about 5 minutes. It was awesome. Typical. Okay, so we're just about at the end of our hour here. And again, thank you guys, because I know that you took up time from work to be here with us. We totally appreciate it. Tell people how they can get a hold of Snug if they want to make contact. And Carol definitely wants to get an ook and join. So how does she do that?
The best thing to do is to join our meetup group.
Which is?
Just, what is it? What's the URL for that, Keith? I should know.
Well, if you go to meetup.com and search for Southern New Hampshire Ukulele Group, you'll find us.
And is it just the initials? It's not the whole word, right? It's SNHUG.
I don't know. You can try both, but
You can do it either way, I think. Yeah.
I think so too, Carol.
And check out our Facebook page. There's a lot going on, and we have a website on WordPress. That's just the initials, I believe, right, Keith?
it's snug.wordpress.com.
Okay.
And we also have an Instagram account. We don't keep it up as well as we should, but we do. We also have, you can also connect to us through Instagram.
So there are any number of ways to connect. And what about Ukulele Kids Club? What if people want to know more about that, Miss June?
It's the ukc.org. They've got videos that you can look at of a lot of happy, smiling kids playing ukulele in a very clinical setting where you wouldn't expect it. And it just, that'll cheer up your day, if nothing else.
If nothing else does.
Yeah.
That is totally awesome. Thank you guys again. We're Intuitive Body and Soul, www.intuitivebodyandsoul.com. And now Deb's been working on a new project. Give them, their website's not active yet. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, so tell them it's
ascendwithhalohealing.com.
Okay, so look into that. It's all one word. And that's something, Halo Healing is something she founded a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so we have a new website. You're doing a new website and it's up and running. So take a look at that, everyone. Okay. Thank you guys. And we'll see you at the next
Thank you very much.
practice. All right. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
We'll see you later. Miss Carol, thank you for joining us.
Oh, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We didn't see her, only her name.
I know. Well, she couldn't.
Good to hear from you.
We will connect. All right. Thank you,
All right, sounds good.
everyone. I am going
Bye.
to try and find the off button here. Hold that thought. There it is. All right, everyone. Thank you.